This week we're working on two variable equations, and this very first step is actually pretty easy. You'll have 4 questions on your homework, and they shouldn't be too hard. So basically you're given a linear function, and you need to replace the y and the x with the ordered pair that they give you. And if it works out, then it is a solution. If it does not work out, it is not a solution. So one quick thing, when you're writing linear equations out, if you have an x and y kind of like this, always have a y equals. So if it says x equals y plus 2 or something like that, you're going to have to try to find a way to get that y by itself. I'm not exactly, it kind of goes with the graphing and stuff like that you'll do in algebra, but always try to remember to have it as y equals. And we'll practice that a little later on. So let's replace this x with a 2. So 4 times 2 plus 2. And this solution of this equation right here is supposed to equal 10 because y equals 10. So let's try it out. We have 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 2, which equals 10. So if I wrote this equation out, 10 equals 10, and that is a solution. But let's try this one out. So we have x is negative 3. So we have 6 minus negative 3. And then that is supposed to equal a positive 3. So let's check that out. Well, first of all, a minus a negative would turn into a plus a positive. They cancel each other out. So technically, this is just 6 plus 3. So my equation ends up looking like this. 3 equals 9. And because that is not a solution, I'm going to put a slash in the middle of my equal sign that says this does not equal that. And that's basically those, nice and simple. Now, this is kind of what I was talking about. You want to get your y by itself. So that's the first step of everything. Now, to get the y by itself, we have to shift over our x or whatever is beside that y. So because this is a positive 5x, I'm going to subtract it to both sides. 5 plus negative 5 cancels itself out, so that side is gone. And then I'm just going to subtract 5x from there. Okay, so now my new equation, I haven't really done anything yet, no math at all actually. All I've done is made this into a function. So I have y equals 10 minus 5x. And that's kind of why we worked on this so much at the beginning of the year. All right, now what we need to do is find 4 ordered pairs that go with this equation. So I always start with the easiest ones. Don't make this a lot harder on yourself. Start with 0 or 1. So I'm going to replace this x with a 0 first. So my first ordered pair will be 0, comma, something. So 5 times 0, we'll write this out so you guys kind of understand what I'm doing. So 5 times 0 would just be 0. So 10 minus 0 is just 10. So this whole equation works out as y equals 10. Okay, so that's saying that if x equals 0, then y would equal 10. But what happens if x equals 1? Let's try that one out. We're going to change colors. All right, let's turn this one to a 1. And I'm just going to write it in parentheses, and I'm going to talk this one through. So 5 times 1 would be 5. So right now I have 10 minus 5. Well, 10 minus 5 is 5, so that means y equals 5. So if x equals 1, then the solution would be 5 for my y. Next one, let's do green, and we'll have x equal 2. Again, make this easy. You don't need to do 523. You can go 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's try 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. So y actually would equal 0 on this one. 2, 0. And then last, let's do my 4th ordered pair. So we have 3, comma. I might have to do this one out. So I have 10 minus 5 times 3, which would be 15. Okay, so that would be 15. 10 minus 15, or 10 plus a negative 15, would be negative 5. So that would be my y. Okay, so if I have my x as a 3, my y would be negative 5. And you can see the pattern from here. So if my x's are going by 1s, then my y's are going down by 5. So you can just assume through this pattern that we created that the next one would be 4, comma, negative 10. All right, let's practice again. First step, get that y by itself. So that's a negative 2x. I'm going to add my 2x to both sides. Add it to that side. So my new equation looks like 2x plus 19 equals y. And of course, we're going to start with the easiest. We'll start with 0. So if my y equals 0, 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 19 is just 19. So y equals 19. And again, you're going to be doing 4 of these. I'm just kind of showing you how to do this. We'll do one more. 2 times 1. So if my x equals 1, that means 2. So what's 2 plus 19? Well, that's easy. That is 21. And you might already see the pattern. You might not even have to solve all of these. So if my x's are going by 1s, then my y's are going by 2s. Let's try one more just to see if our theory is right. So 2 times 2 is 4. 19 plus 4 is 23. So yep, our theory does work out. So you should be able to find the third one without even doing any math. And there we go. Last but not least, this one's going to be a little bit harder because our y is by itself, except it's not. We need to get that y completely by itself. We can't have a digit in front of it. So what we need to do is divide, get rid of that digit. So divide this by 4. 4 divided by 4 is nothing. Now we have to divide this side by 4. So our new equation will look like y equals 8 divided by 4 would be 2, so 2x, and 12 divided by 4 would be 3. So this is my actual equation. And then we could solve. So if I'm going to say my x is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, plus 3 would be 3. So I have 0, 3. Let's replace my x with a 1. 2 times 1 would be 2, plus 3 would be 5. 2, 5. All right, looks like it might be going by 2's on both sides. Or sorry, 1 on this side and then 2 on that side. Do another one. Make x equal 2. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. And you should be able to see the pattern from there. And there we go. That is 2 variable equations.